Oh man, one last swig of coffee before I kick off. Welcome to Clemson Football Live. It's been quite the week for me, and I've been sick. I've been sick. I was supposed to fly out to the West Coast last Sunday, and my wife was like, "You sound terrible," and I was just going to push through. And anyway, talked to my company, and they said, "Stay home." So I stayed home. I recouped. I did not do a video all week, and I waited till this morning. There's kind of a lot and then not a lot that went on. I guess this is one of those scenarios where two things can be true at once. But we're going to dive right in. We're going to talk about the transfer portal. We're going to talk about DJ playing his first spring game last week. Why would I bring that up on Clemson Football Live? Well, he kind of plays for Florida State. We're going to talk about some of the players that got drafted in the NFL. You know, I'm not a big NFL guy, but it's always nice to see guys go to Clemson, end up in the NFL, go make some money that folds, as Andy Griffith said. But welcome to Clemson Football Live. I am Brian. I'm glad you're here. I apologize for the nasal congestion and the runny nose, and so please overlook that. My wife is actually sick now, and it's actually hit her a whole lot harder than it's hit me. So, but anyway, I normally don't just ramble about sickness, but I just wanted really everyone who consistently watches my videos and that just happened. I thought I had that fixed. Who cares? I'll fix that later. Man, I just need to go ahead and log off. But I just wanted to really talk about college football. What happened this week? I wanted to talk about the draft. I wanted to talk about DJ, and we'll dive right into that in just a second. I got a comment in here. Tiger Paul Craven, what's up, my man? It's good to see you, pal. That actually had fell like the other day, and I thought that I could keep it up here, so it's time to change that. I'm being lazy, y'all. As you can tell, I'm being lazy. All right, first, let's talk about the players who were drafted in the NFL. Nate Wiggins was selected. I can't remember who took him. It was the Ravens. It was the Ravens who took him in the first round. Congratulations to Nate Wiggins. Rook Horror. I actually met him at a place I used to work. He was an intern there. And so I actually met him when he was like a freshman or a sophomore at Clemson. The guy's a massive dude. And congratulations to him. He's going to Atlanta. And why is this big for Clemson? Well, this is big for Clemson because you can still tell players, hey, look, current players who were just there, look where they ended up. They ended up in the NFL. That is the goal, though it's very difficult to get in the NFL. I mean, it's very difficult. Going to Alabama or going to Georgia, used to going to Clemson, and I know you're like, what do you mean used to? Clemson's not as dominant as they once were. That's not being negative. It's a statistical fact. Our last three bowl games was what? The Cheez-It Bowl, the Orange Bowl, where we got our tail whipped, and then we acted like we won the Super Bowl by beating a mediocre Kentucky team in the Gator Bowl. Need I say more? But it's just because you go to these big schools does not guarantee that you're going to end up in the NFL. It doesn't. I mean, it really doesn't. So, so it's good to see relevant players going to the NFL because that's easier to pitch to recruits. I know this is going to be kind of shocking for a lot of people, but it's getting hard to pitch Deshaun Watson going to the NFL because, well, that he hasn't been at Clemson, what, in 8 years? 7 years? I think it's 8. Could be wrong. Won't be the first time. But as time goes on, people forget, right? They forget Newt Hopkins. They forget Grady Jarrett. They forget those guys. And it's just because we have short memories. We have information overload. So it's good to see these guys on a personal basis go out, make it to the NFL for themselves. And then it's good for the brand of Clemson. I talk about brand collateral. Brand collateral, what does that mean? Well, there are brands that have come and gone over the years. like Fila or Reebok. Reebok is here, but Reebok has teetered in and out. It's not as strong as, say, Nike or Adidas. Nike and Adidas, they continually keep themselves like relevant, as to where, maybe Reebok comes back for a little while and then goes back into obscurity, and then it'll come back for a little while. Or what's that other shoe? Swiss? What was it called? I can't remember. But but you're like, Brian, what's your point? Notice how Nike stays, Adidas stays, but these other brands go in and out. They lose brand collateral, means they become forgettable. The good old days become the good old days, but it's not the current day. And that's what you have to look at with Clemson. Now, there is one thing to look at here too when we're looking at Clemson football. I just got a glimpse of myself in my monitor right here, and I still not to. All I'm going to say is my eyes still look kind of weak, but I promise you, I'm doing a lot better. But man, the sinus stuff is still crazy. But notice what side of the ball we're seeing players drafted in. Is it the offense? Lord, no. It's the defense. This is one of the things that I pound the drum on when I'm talking about the transfer portal. And we're going to talk about the transfer portal here in just a second. Is when people talk about Dabo Swinney needing to use the transfer portal to get back to those glory days of 16 and 18 and the time around it, they are pounding the wrong drum. Whoever's doing their research for them is not paying attention to the fact that coaching matters. Whether it's at Clemson or whether it's at Georgia or it's at Florida State or at Kalamazoo Tech, coaching matters. If coaching does not matter, and this is a game of luck, and we're winning some type of sports lottery here, why are you paying these guys so much? I raise that question because we do know that coaching matters. Joe Brady was at LSU, for 1 year? And turned Joe Burrow from a solid quarterback into one of the most dominant quarterbacks in 1 year. In a year. Joe Brady was gone. Joe Burrow leaves. Guess what? LSU, they were a flash in the pan. Now, when that flash was there, it was hot and it was a big flash. But Joe Brady was that good. He's now the offensive coordinator for the Buffalo Bills. The guy can coach. He got fired at the Carolina Panthers. Folks, Carolina Panthers are terrible. Carolina Panthers are absolutely terrible. I hate it for them. I really do. I hate it for them. But I have people questioning Bryce Young. I'm like, who does Bryce Young have to throw to? Does Bryce Young have an offensive line? No. Matt Rule, he's a terrible coach. Really? Maybe in the NFL. He's a fantastic college coach. Would you take being a fantastic college coach? Especially with the money these guys make? Yes. Don't be surprised in the next 2 or 3 years, as long as nothing crazy happens, if Matt Rule stays at Nebraska, don't be shocked in 2 or 3 years if that team is a top 15 team and a playoff contender, because there's 12 teams now. I mean, it's easier to do that. Got Douglas Spencer in here. Glad you're feeling better and looking good. Also, Yuma Tiger fans. Good to see you, Douglas. Tell your family I said hello. WB2DX. Hey, what's good? Good to see you, my friend. He was talking to Tiger Paul Craven. But notice that these players are being drafted off of the defensive side of the ball. Defensive side of the ball, you break it down, they have a lot of experience across the coaching spectrum, right? Even though Wes Goodwin was never a defensive coordinator, he had great experience. He had been around a lot of brilliant minds. Brent Venables had a ton of respect for him. And you could say that Wes, he took over a defense from the brilliant Brenton Venables. But, folks, has he messed it up? The correct answer is no, he hasn't. Good to see everybody here. Jared Smith's in here. Happy Saturday. Good to see you. Tiger Paul Craven. Good to see you. Yeah, it's good to see you. I have a friend of mine that just texts me, "Are you doing a live stream today?" Folks, I'm going to respond to this text live. Yes, I'm online now. See if he joins. The offensive side of the ball, position coach, until Matt Luke was hired, it was just Garrett Riley. Nobody had great great coaching experience. And here he is. Bobby, you're talking about Bobby Durkins here. This is the type of individual to laugh maniacally after winning a game of solitaire. Yes, and he's about 12 PBR in. It's good to see you, Eric. Oh my God. So to lead into the transfer portal, let's talk about transfer portal. This week we saw some players enter the transfer portal from Clemson. Adam Kasaya. This young man, he had just signed with Clemson. He was a really tall dude too. He was an edge rusher, 6'7". He was kind of slim, 6'7", and he hit the transfer portal this week. I know that his mom got irritated with some fans who made comments. And WB2DX, only 12. It's more like 15. I heard that he drank the entire case, but that's Bobby Durkins for you. Then for some reason it got real weird when he started saying show teams, and he knew some of the words. It was odd. So Adam Kasaya, his mom got upset. Folks, let me tell you this. I am a freedom of speech guy, but you need to understand that when you say certain things, it's going to tick people off. So people do have freedom of reaction, and with freedom of speech, people needs to be very careful. People needs to be careful not to just recklessly blab. I always say that. I've been guilty of it, and some people came down on this kid. I mean, he's really a kid coming out of high school. He just left high school. He enrolls in Clemson. He realizes he should have went to Minnesota. And some people got crazy. People got stupid, and his mom took up for him. And that's why when I'm on the show, I try not to just go like nuclear on someone because I have a 17-year-old son. I love him to death. He's a good kid. But just like any person, even adults make poor decisions all the time. And when people are in the spotlight, it's easier to go after them. I just read the comments. My mind went blank. But that's why I turned the comments off so I can't see them. But people change their minds, and yeah, it's annoying. And here's the deal. I think he was like a 3-star player. Some of you guys are talking about how he's probably going to have to be developed. Hey, that's totally fine. That's fine with me. Playing defense at Clemson is, and I've said this over and over, defense has been the strong suit of Clemson. Even during the years pre-Dabo, Clemson's defense could be a problem for you. And playing on that defensive line, playing on that unit, it's tough. It's tough. No matter if you come in and you're a 4 or 5-star player, it's tough because the talent level is really amped up. Really, Clemson's team is a tale of two teams. You have the offense, who's anemic and seemingly there's no leadership, and the new guys that's come in like Garrett Riley and Matt Luke, they're having to clean up all of this poor training for many, many years. I still think there's some changes that's going to have to be made. Or a couple of recruiting cycles it's going to have to go through before this is cleaned up, because you take an individual, you program them to react. Now they're reacting poorly. You just can't expect a human being to be retrained overnight. So it's just it's just tough. But you look on the defensive side of the ball, everything is just strong. So this young man just says, you know what, I'm going to go to Minnesota. I get it. I wish him the very best, and I hope the Clemson fans will just kind of try to lay off the guy. I'm going to talk about DJ Uiagalelei in just a second and how he fared at the Florida State spring game. But I'm not going to rip DJ. I know he's in his now early, 22, 23 years old. I'm not just going to sit here and just rip him to have fun or create some type of cute little username and rip him, anonymously. We could talk about the bad things that he's done. And by the way, I'm trying to get some Florida State guys on here. I'm part of the college football huddle, the college huddle. So go check out that website, the college huddle. You can Google it, and you'll see yours truly on there. So we're just a group of YouTube personalities, podcasters who are collaborating and just trying to create a community like ourselves who doesn't have strings attached by the media, or like sponsors who are telling us what to and what not to say. We have enough of that, and that's the reason why, a lot of these shows you can't even stomach to sit through and watch them. That's the reason why a lot of shows are still talking about the transfer portal with Dabo Swinney and not talking, just staying on the coaching hires. You want to fix Clemson, fix the coaching hires, and do it all at once, and then accept it's probably going to take some time to revamp this thing. But anyway, let's get back on topic. We had another guy. He hit the transfer portal. He was an offensive lineman, Zach Owens. A lot of people they're interested in him. I think there's 85 scholarship players. I think that frees up like 2 or 3 scholarships right now. And I can't say go to the transfer portal and pick up someone just to pick up someone. At the same time, it just kind of bothers you to see these guys leave. There's some questions on the offensive side of the football. You would like to see Clemson go after someone on the offensive side of the football and bring them in, to hopefully, give Cade more weapons, maybe beef up the offensive line. But if Clemson is not interested in truly using the transfer portal, it is not going to happen. You can continue giving scholarships to, whoever, and I heard someone say recently that Dabo Swinney can hire whoever he wants. He's earned the right to hire whoever he wants, do whatever. They didn't say do whatever he wants, but that was basically the gist. And folks, I'm going to tell you, coming from the corporate world, you cannot, no matter how successful you are, you cannot do whatever you want. If you're an Olympic weightlifter or a bodybuilder and you win some bodybuilding championships, you win a gold medal in weightlifting, you cannot do whatever you want and continue to perform at that same level. You can't. Extreme discipline and smart decisions is what births great results. You can't plant good seed in bad ground and get a good harvest. No matter how many years you've been farming, and no matter how well your crops have done over the years, you realize that actually is a show of maturity, that you can't hire whoever you want and still expect the proper results. I'm sorry, folks. It just the laws of God absolutely just are set there. You can't do it. You can't do it and consistently have success. I'm sorry. So let's talk about DJ Uiagalelei. Now, last Saturday, he played in his very first Florida State spring game. And I went back and I watched his every passing play that he had. Every passing play that he had. I watched every one of them. And folks, I am not here to be a jerk to DJ. I pulled for him last year at Oregon State. I wanted to see how he would do with Jonathan Smith. I think that DJ, obviously, every individual has responsibility of how they do and how they perform. Also, you can also be warped when it comes to who is training you. Now, personally, I always like to make things personal, so I can say been there, done that, maybe in a different sense. I have worked for organizations in my career who basically treated me like the village idiot, and no matter what good idea I had, if it wasn't their idea, they were not going with it. They didn't think that much of me. I now work with an organization who trusts me. I deal with massive clients. I'm talking about some of the biggest in the world. They trust me. They trust my moves. They trust their hire. And they give me the ability to do what I need to do. They give me the marketing material I need. They give me the engineering support that I need. They give me the tools I need to be successful. I know that sounds really kind of cliche, and I think that was a quote from Step Brothers about enterprise car rental. But the truth is, if you're in a bad organization, you could be brilliant, and you're going to be terrible. Your performance is going to be terrible. You can't go any farther than your leadership going, oh no, you don't. And I think part of that is what happened at Clemson. We're seeing it with Cade. We're seeing it with Chris Vizina. We see it. Stop doing the tiger rag. Stop humming it. Stop talking about 18 and 16. Those are now, 8 and 6 years ago. See, time's flying. Past 3 bowl games, cheese it, a big Orange Bowl loss, and jumping around like we were heavily medicated that we beat a subpar Kentucky team. Okay? So cut it out. Cut it out. But my point in all of this is DJ is a product of poor coaching. It's not all on coaching. DJ has to make those decisions. He has to make those reads. Nobody's putting a gun to his head and making him throw bad passes. Okay? With all of that said, I'm going to read you this. This is from TampaBay.com. Tampa Bay, it's from I think it's Tampa Times. I don't know. I'm going to read this to you, and I want you as a Clemson fan to hear this. By the way, there's 59 of you in here. I hope there's 59 thumbs up. Drop a comment below if you want to support the channel on a monthly basis. There's a join button below here unless you're on an Apple iPhone. If you're on an iPhone, you're not going to see the join button. I don't know. That's really weird. Click the join button. It's either $3 or $5 per month. It's whether you want to support the channel, $3 or $5 per month. There's a lot of you who have been doing it. I do appreciate that. Let me see. All right. Hello to everyone. Justin Parrott, David Wood, Jay. Let me see. I remember my big Orange Bowl loss. There were pinto beans all over the ceiling. It was Maul's only dish that wasn't. You're crazy. I have crazy friends, folks. It's good to see you, buddy. Cam Moore and Grayson McCall look like game changers. Yeah, David Wood. Grayson McCall especially. Clemson should have went and got him out of Coastal Carolina. But we didn't. We didn't. We didn't. We didn't. We didn't. And I've seen that guy play live several times. Justin Parrott, howdy from Lake Marion in South Carolina. Love your videos. Thank you so much, man. You are the goat of all the Clemson videos. That's very kind. I appreciate it, my friend. Thank you so much. Jay says he is what he is. Hate it for him. It's talking about DJ. All right, let's talk about DJ. I'm going to read this article, and I want you to forget that DJ is at Florida State. Remember, I'm not trying to rip on DJ, but I'm asking you to listen to this verbiage and if it brings back some DJ PTSD. Mike Norvell's Seminoles look like a work in progress on the field. How many times have we heard that about Clemson's offense with DJ and after DJ? That's the charitable view of a revamped offense led by former Clemson/Oregon State quarterback DJ Uiagalelei. The former five-star recruit was an unofficial 13 of 29 passing for 184 yards, including situational work before the scrimmage. Wasn't obviously the cleanest day, Uiagalelei said, but it wasn't necessarily as bad as the numbers suggested either. Oh no, folks. Oh no. What's the media about to do? The media is about to media. They're about to go in and do what the Clemson media did to us that entire time DJ was here. And we seen it last year with Cade. We're seeing it. We're even seeing it after the Trent Pierman performance. That the Clemson media is coming in to try to garner support and comfort and peace for their fan base. Where did that get us, Clemson fans? Where did it get us? Where did it get us? Got us to a Cheez-It Bowl, an Orange Bowl butt whipping. Joe Milton played the best game he ever played in his life, in his 6 years in college. And then jumping up and down on the sideline like they were drunk, like they'd never won a game before, beating a mediocre Kentucky team. That's where it got us. Let's continue reading this. Uiagalelei recovered from a shaky start. Oh, really? Hadn't heard that before. His first pass in the red zone was behind his receiver. His second drop back ended in a generously called sack. Quarterbacks were in non-contact jerseys. He missed on 5 of his next 7 passes, too. Hold on, whoa. You opened up with Uiagalelei recovered from a shaky start. You're not telling me any of this. Where did he recover? He missed on 5 of his next 7 passes, too, including one that could have been intercepted by Georgia transfer Marvin Jones Jr. You opened up that he recovered from a shaky start, and in the next 1, 2, 3 lines, you don't reconcile that. Folks, this is like reading an article about him and about our offense over the past few years from local media, Clemson media, and college football media. Huh. I mean, I'm just throwing this out there. I'm not being a jerk. I'm pulling for DJ. Hope he does well. Now, I'm going to get some Florida State guys on here. We're already talking. I'm pulling in. There's going to be another group of Florida State guys I'm going to reach out to. I don't know if they'll come on the show. I don't know. I would love to have them on here. I enjoy going on other shows. I've been a guest on other shows recently. I had a blast. I've had I've had the opportunity to be able to tell people the truth about Clemson's fall apart, and it's not the transfer portal. I've been evangelizing that idea because that idea is actually the problem. If the car is, I'm so getting worked up. I can't. I know. You should make fun of me for that. If the car is out of gas, why change its tire? Brian, that doesn't make sense. Yeah, you're right. It doesn't make sense. Clemson's problem is not the transfer portal. That's changing the tire when the car is out of gas. Put gas in the car. Hire better coaches. I know you're doing it. He's already done it. You're never happy, Brian. You're never happy. You should have done this a long time ago. You wouldn't burn through 3 4-star plus quarterbacks. An offensive line that couldn't block a gnat. Big Papa Bear 76 for the beer fund. Look at you there. Look at that. Look at that family. That's a beautiful family. Look at that. Well, thank you so much for supporting the channel, Big Papa Bear 76 for the beer fund. I'll pass that along to Bobby Durkins. The good thing about PBR is it is affordable. And Bobby Durkins, man, he can make that $5 stretch. Who am I kidding? He's Bobby Durkins. He'll have that. He'll drink that while he's on the can, unloading his gut. Thank you, Papa Bear 76. Oh, let's see. Let's see. FSU doesn't play a normal spring game. This hate is odd. I'm not hating. I'm not hating on Florida State. I'm just saying DJ looks like he did at Clemson and looked like he did at Oregon State. I'm pulling for the young man. I hope he does well. I hope he rebounds. Let me tell you the thing about DJ, Cougar Intruder. DJ will throw a pass that will blow you away. The guys I reached out to, who they're in the college huddle, very nice guys. I'm trying to get them on the show. We're working out our schedules and so on. I watched their video, and they did a heck of a video on DJ. And I'm telling you, they said exactly what I said. 1 minute he throws a pass, he looks like an NFL, like first round NFL passer. And the next play, you go, did someone just switch out with that young man? Because there ain't no, no. So Cougar Intruder, just to specifically throw this out there to you, I've watched DJ more than you've watched DJ. Everybody on this channel who is a Clemson fan, who is a serious Clemson fan, has watched DJ play a lot. Looks like DJ, unfortunately for him. Great question. What does it say about the rest of the Florida State quarterback room? Marcus Parson, DJ is irrelevant. Talk about nothing in the pipeline for Clemson at quarterback. That's the real problem. Marcus, we have to play DJ, and everybody thinks that DJ is going to be resurrected by the great Mike Norvell. And I'm not saying that Florida State... In fact, I think Florida State will come out and play us very well, and they will scheme for him to beat us. The thing with Florida State you have to watch out, if you're a Florida State fan, is outside of that Clemson game. Where he throws passes, it doesn't make sense. You end up losing a game after you beat Clemson. If you beat Clemson. I'm not sold on that you beat Clemson. I'm not sold on it. Marcus, and also Marcus, I agree with you. Pipeline for Clemson football at quarterback, we got a problem. We had the chance to go get Grayson McCall. Well, so and so would have transferred out. Okay. Well, Dabo's not going to do that. That's not the. And I'm not saying that's your reply, Marcus. But I'm saying that's people's reply. Dabo's not going to do. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm saying that's what we should have done. We should have went after Grayson McCall in the portal. Got him. Gator hater. What's up? Good to see you, my friend. Got a bunch of people in here. Good to see you. His footwork has improved. His biggest flaw is the immediate throws. Cougar, I'm just going to put it this way. I told Tennessee fans that Joe Milton had the ability to do a lot of great things, but his previous 5 years of college football said otherwise. And they told me I was snarky and salty after the loss. Go back and look at how that Tennessee season turned out last year. And I'm going to tell you, y'all might beat Clemson, But I promise you, DJ, I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt. Forget Florida State, forget Oregon State, forget Clemson. I'm talking about the individual. DJ has some bad habits. And in that spring game, and I know it's a spring game, and I know it looked just like the other 4 years of college, my friend. All right, off of that. So, where do we stand as a Clemson community? I'm going to start closing this down. There's 69 of you in here. I hope you hit the thumbs up, like, all that much good stuff. You want to support the channel. Gator Hater. Yes, he does need some moonshine. It's good to see you. Let me see. All right, I'm going to turn off the comment section right now. I hope you'll subscribe. And I appreciate everybody who's reached out to me during this time. I put up a post this week just letting everybody know I was sick and I couldn't do the videos. I had some really kind words, and I do appreciate it. Philip Brister was hilarious. So where are we at this point in the season? I mean, we are 4 months out, almost to the day, 4 months out from the game in Atlanta against Georgia. It's going to be at Mercedes-Benz Stadium, and for some of you who really don't know the geographic location of Georgia to Atlanta, they're only, about 45 minutes away, roughly. So it's going to be a home game for them. In fact, when Clemson and Georgia played last, they played in Charlotte at the Carolina Panthers Stadium. That was back in, 2021. This was his first game. It was a hard-fought game, etc. But pick six ended up helping them win. But it was in Charlotte, and everybody was like, oh, it's a Carolina game, so that's Clemson's home game. What's funny is Clemson is actually closer to Atlanta than they are Charlotte. So it's kind of like they lose either way, but when it comes to location. But there's a lot of questions that we have coming out of the spring game. Who everybody is just touting a spring. It's a spring game, Brian. You're overreacting. That's fine. That's fine. The other two spring games that accurately predicted the season, that means nothing to you. Okay, that's great. That's wonderful that means nothing to you. It's wonderful that you can look at rain clouds forming and the sky is dark and there's lightning and thunder, and you're going to be shocked when it starts raining and there's debris blowing across your yard. I wonder where this storm came from. I wished I had something that would have tipped me off. Well, it did when you saw the lightning and thunder and the dark clouds and the wind and the alert on your phone saying there's a tornado warning. It was there. You just overlooked it. And that's what I look at with this Clemson spring game. The defense is going to be stellar. The offense has their work cut out for them. Let me tell you where Clemson football fans are at. We are literally at the place to we are hinging our expectations of Clemson's offense on Wesco, a true freshman. And they're like, oh, you wait till that guy gets here in June or July. Talking about TJ Moore. Really? He gets in town, and within 4 to 8 weeks he has to play Georgia? That's where we're at? To where we're throwing up a prayer? Come on. The defense is going to be incredible. Question is, what can we do to mature the offensive line to bring some form of correction there? Now, Matt Luke is the man for the job, okay? I'd hate to have his job right now, but Matt Luke is the man for the job. Garrett Riley, I'm really interested in how is this hurting his head coaching stock? Like this guy was a big deal coming out of the 65-7 loss to Georgia. And everybody was like thrilled to have him. What is this doing to his head coaching stock? Because, folks, if this year does not look bright for him, maybe it's the more of the same last year, maybe just a little better. Maybe if it's just a little better and some coaching job comes along to get him out of Clemson so he can do exactly what he wants, whether that's going on or not. We've heard rumblings of Dabo still calling plays and this, that, and the other. I don't know if that's, I'm talking about last year. He'll leave. I would. I don't want to be micromanaged. Trust your hire, especially if it's hurting my career. That'll be interesting to see how that works out. Next up, let's talk about some other teams. Let's talk about some other teams that there's a lot of noise about. The Georgia Bulldogs. You're like, Brian, this is Clemson Football Live. Hey, folks, Clemson is in college football, and you don't know how good your team is until you go out and play other teams. That's kind of how you measure your success. And when you're anyway, I'm not going to rant on something I was about to rant. I literally caught myself. Georgia Bulldogs, they lost Brock Bowers. They've lost Ladd McConkey. The thing is, Georgia is playing a different game. And with the playoff tripled in size from 4 to 12 teams, Georgia would have to really wet the bed to not make the playoffs. But I also think that Georgia's going to be a contender. I mean, duh, a contender. They're a front runner for the national championship. It's going to be interesting to see how Michigan does. Harbaugh's gone. There's players gone. You got a new coach in there. How do they do? You look at Ohio State. Ryan Day. This would be the time for him to break that streak against Michigan. Get some heat off of himself, right? Get the heat off of himself and get to the college football playoff. Again, it's tripled in size from 4 to 12. And really look at it. Take this moment and seize it. Beat Michigan and do what he's got to do in the college football playoff. But it's just really, really interesting. Oregon, we see Dan Lanning saying no thank you to the Alabama job. He's got it made out there. He's got all the funding in the flipping world with all that Nike money coming in. And Dan Lanning, in his second season, had the team rolling. They looked great. Won the Fiesta Bowl. They played against a Liberty team who I love, Jamie Chadwell, but they shouldn't have been there. That was a fail. But and that didn't help their brand collateral going in and getting their tail whipped in the Fiesta Bowl. But you had Bo Nix, which I think that was way overdrafting him. No offense, Bo. He's probably a 3rd or 4th round player that should have been taken. But you have him being taken in the first round, earlier in the first round. Oregon is in the Big Ten now, and that's just a weird thing to say, but to see them seize this moment, and maybe the road for Ohio State and the road for Michigan and the road for Penn State was always difficult before, because every year we're hearing about Penn State's good, Penn State. Yeah, they're good, but they're not great. Stop acting like they're great. Franklin has them plateaued. End of story. You ain't going no farther than where you're at unless you get lucky. And with you adding a team like Oregon in the mix, and according to how USC is going to respond after the players that they've lost, it's going to be interesting to see what happens here. It really is. I'm starting to lose my voice as I talk more. But I need to blow my nose too. But my point is, Oregon could make some really good noise this year. Tennessee, how is Tennessee going to respond with a freshman quarterback? Nico, he's one of those really good talents out of California. For us Clemson fans, we kind of get when you bring it out because we think about DJ. But really, he's a really good quarterback, athletic, seems to have a lot of the it factor there. How will the Volunteers react this year after a season that was due to the quarterback play and the lack of decision making? Milton is a great athlete. He is a great athlete. He seems like a nice guy. It's just when it comes time to make the decision. There was one play, to me, this sums up Joe Milton so well at Tennessee. I think they were playing against Texas A&M. It was like 3rd down and 2. The play breaks down, rolls out to his right. He has a wide receiver open on the sidelines. He's 6'4", 6'5". All he has to do is fall forward. He gets 2 yards, right? Plus, he's big, he's thick, he's fast. What's he do? He keeps extending the play. He won't make a decision. He could run out. He could run and force the defender with his body to get the 2 yards. He won't do it. He could throw him the ball early. Does he do it? No. He throws the ball at the last second to the wide receiver. The defense is already collapsed and closed on the wide receiver. It's incomplete. And to me, that summed up Joe Milton, unfortunately, for him. And it's interesting to see how this kid is going to do for Tennessee. Rocky Top has a lot of things to be happy about. They haven't had this much happiness in a very long time. So it'll be interesting to see how they do this year. This is kind of odd and out in the left field here, but Arizona had an unbelievable season out of nowhere. That coach, he'd never played college football from what I understand. What was his name? Jed something? Now he's at Washington. He led them to an incredible season. He ends up taking the job at Washington to fill the vacancy from Kalen DeBoer going to Alabama. They go out, and I believe they hired the coach from San Jose State, which, San Jose State, that's a very tough job. You're not only in the Bay Area, who cares nothing about college football. Just ask Stanford in California. It's San Jose State. Right? At least Stanford in California has had some great players who also had some great seasons. San Jose State's batting with very little. He did a solid job there. He's going to take over Arizona. We'll see how the Wildcats do. I know that's kind of an outlier there, but I just wanted to bring that up. Folks, I'm going to go through the comment section real quick. There's a bunch of people in here. Philip Brister, glad to see you feeling better. Good to see you, my friend. Clemson is 2 hours. Georgia is 1 hour. That's right. Let me see. Yeah, a bunch of people in here. Rob Allen, wish Jeff Scott would come back. You and me both. Yep, doesn't make sense. Let me see. A bunch of people in here really upset. Keep tired. Yep, that's a great idea. I don't know if he'll agree to it, but that's a great idea. Yeah, that guy can play. That guy can play. I have a good friend who lives in Tucson, Rob. I have a really good friend. Dollar Store Dabo. I don't want to even know what y'all are talking about. There's so many comments in here. All right, folks, I am going to close this thing down. There's 68 of you. Hold on. Don't leave. I know you're around the can. You're about to wipe. No. You can wipe, but after I go through this, first off, I hope you subscribe. If you like what I'm doing, it's free. Now, listen, I'm not one of these guys who's being paid by somebody to say a certain thing. All right? I know I talk about that, and some of you are like, Brian, we've heard this before. We appreciate it. Would you stop saying it? No. You want to know why you can't sit through Saturday mornings during college football anymore glued to the TV, why you get your stomach turned? It's because they are paid to say certain things. I'm not a conspiracy theorist. Okay, maybe a little bit. Okay, I am. But it is true. It is true. And that's why people get their minds clouded when it comes to their team. That's why I'm the bad guy in the Clemson community, and I'm not trying to be the bad guy. I just love my team, and I wish that they would just... Anyway. But if you want to support someone who is not pushed or controlled by advertisers or by some type of company, this is your channel. I'm not here to be a shock jock. I'm just being honest. I'm just here. I tell what I believe. I love my Tigers. I hope they recruit. Hey, our defense is awesome. See, Phil Maffa is awesome. See, I just complimented him. The stadium's nice. But offenses, oh my lord, it's like eating something that you look forward to and then it making you pay all night on the can. That's what our offense is like. But drinking that last little bit of Pepto Bismol, hoping that it'll fix everything, knowing that it won't. So, but if you want to support the channel, I hope you will as well. There's a join button below here, $3 or $5. Hey, let me tell you this. Parker Henderson, one of my buddies, one of the longtime supporters of the show, as well as Big John, they said this. We don't even notice it coming out. So if you want to support the channel, please do that. At least subscribe, hit the thumbs up, drop a comment in the comment section, say hello. Also, I'm part of the College Huddle, where hey man, I'm meeting up with YouTubers and podcasters like myself who represent their team, have them on the show. I've been on 2 shows already, just to talk about Clemson, the lawsuit, what needs to be fixed at Clemson, transfer portal. WB2DX said, hey, I thought you were sponsored by PBR. Hey, if they sponsor me, I'd take it. You need a razor sponsor. Yes, I know. My wife doesn't want me to shave. She likes me. She says I look like I'm in middle school when I shave. I actually do look a lot. I look kind of ridiculous with no stubble. But anyway, folks, thank you so much. I hope to catch you next time. And as always, and sickness permitting, I will do as many shows as I possibly can. Go Tigers.